It is the winter season of the year, dark and chilly. Perhaps it is a winter season in your life, dark and chilly there too. Come into Christmas here. Let the light and warmth of Christmas brighten our lives and world. Let us find in the dark corners of our souls the light of hope, a vision of extraordinary in the ordinary. Let us find rest in the quiet of a holy moment to find promise and renewal. Let us find the child in each of us, the new hope, the new light born in us. Then will Christmas come. Then will magic return to the world.
Deep in his soul, he began to feel the need of being a Jew. Hitherto, he had permitted to pass by unobserved the holiday which the wonderful apparition of the Maccabees had illuminated for thousands of years with the glow of miniature lights. Now, however, he made this holiday an opportunity to prepare something beautiful, which should be forever commemorated in the minds of his children. In their young souls should be implanted early a steadfast devotion to their ancient people. He bought a menorah, and when he held this 9-branch candlestick in his hands for the first time, a strange mood came over him. In his father's house also, the lights had once burned in his youth, now far away, and the recollection gave him a sad and tender feeling for home. The tradition was neither cold nor dead. Thus, it had passed through the ages, one light kindling another. Moreover, the ancient form of the menorah had excited his interest. When was the primitive structure of this candlestick fashioned? Clearly, the design was suggested by the tree. In the center, the sturdy trunk. On right and left, 4 branches, one below the other, in one plane, and all of equal height. A later symbolism brought with it the 9th branch, which projects in front and functions as a servant. What mystery had the generations which followed one another read into this form of art, at once so simple and natural? And he wondered to himself if it were not possible to animate again the withered form of the menorah, to water its roots as one would a tree. The mere sound of the name gave him great pleasure. There was a lovable ring to the word when it came from the lips of little children. On the first night, the candle was lit and the origin of the holiday explained. The wonderful incident of the lights that strangely remained burning so long, the story of the return from the Babylonian exile, the Second Temple, the Maccabees. Our friend told his children all he knew. When the second candle was lit, they repeated what he had told them. And though it had all been learned from him, it seemed to him quite new and beautiful. In the days that followed, he waited keenly for the evening, which became ever brighter. Candle after candle stood in the menorah. The week passed. Then came the 8th day, when the whole row burns, even the faithful 9th, the servant, which on other nights is used only for the lighting of the others. A great splendor streamed from the menorah. The children's eyes glistened. But for our friend, all this was the symbol of the enkindling of a nation. When there is but one light, all is still dark, and the solitary light looks melancholy. Soon it finds one companion, then another and another. The darkness must retreat. The light comes first to the young and the poor. Then others join them who love justice, truth, liberty, progress, humanity, and beauty. When all the candles burn, then we must all stand and rejoice over the achievements. And no office can be more blessed than that of a servant of the light.
Good morning. I'm Ann Ariano, co-chair of our Bridge Communities Committee that oversees the work we do in helping a family reach financial stability. This church has sponsored 4 separate families in the past decade. Kirsten and her 4-year-old daughter, Zyla, are our current family. Bridge Communities is a 29-year-old organization based in DuPage County working to help families in this area who have become homeless or are in danger of becoming so. One of the founders of Bridge, Mark Milligan, is pictured here with Kirsten and Zyla at the annual holiday party held just last Thursday at the Children's Museum in Naperville. Our church has been sponsoring Kirsten and Zyla for 2 years now. We provide a monthly payment to Bridge that goes towards Kirsten's rent and various programming, such as counseling and access to local business and social service resources. Through our fundraising efforts and donations from this church, we are able to meet this commitment. And our DUC mentors, trained and supported by the Bridge staff and programming, provide help to Kirsten as she moves toward financial independence. Kirsten and Zyla both have made great strides since we began working with them. Kirsten is successfully employed, finding her voice to advocate for herself and Zyla, paying down her debt, and is in the process of deciding what's next for her family. With assistance from Bridge Realty Resources, Kirsten hopes to purchase her first home in this coming summer. Zyla has blossomed from a shy, nonverbal toddler to an active preschooler, described as independent by her teachers. We are cheering for their successes. Your donations today will help Kirsten and Zyla in their will help keep them in their Bridge-sponsored apartment until they move into a house in mid-2018. We will then meet and begin to help another family start their own journey to financial independence and security. Please consider giving generously to this rewarding cause. Thank you.
Why don't I hear chimes? Remember the small boy who made the chimes ring in a fictional story years ago? As the legend went, the chimes would not ring unless a gift of love was placed on the altar. Kings and men of great wealth placed untold jewels there, but year after year, the church remained silent. Then on one Christmas Eve, a small child in a tattered coat made his way down the aisle, and without anyone noticing, he took off his coat and placed it on the altar. The chimes rang out joyously throughout the land to mark the unselfish giving of a small boy. I used to hear chimes. I heard them the year one of my sons gave me a tattered piece of construction paper on which he had crayoned two hands folded in prayer, and the moving message, "Oh, come, Holy Spit." I heard them the year I got a shoebox that contained 2 baseball cards, and the gum was still with them. I heard them the Christmas they all got together and cleaned the garage. They're gone, aren't they? The years of the lace doilies fashioned into snowflakes, the hands traced in plaster of Paris, the Christmas trees of pipe cleaners, the thread spools that held small candles, they're gone. The chubby hands that clumsily used up $2 worth of paper to wrap a cork coaster are now sophisticated enough to take a number and have the gift wrapped professionally. The childish decision of when to break the ceramic piggy bank with a hammer to spring the 59 cents is now resolved by a credit card. The muted thump of pajama-covered feet padding down the stairs to tuck her homemade crumb scraper beneath the tree has given way to leggings and fashion boots over the knee. It'll be a good Christmas. We'll eat too much, make a mess in the living room, throw the warranties into the fire by mistake, drive the dog crazy, taping bows to his tail, return cookies to the plate with a bite out of them. We'll listen to Christmas music. But oh, what I would give to bend low and receive a gift of toothpicks and library paste and hear the chimes just one more time.
in the responsive reading, and it came to pass. Words will be projected to my right, and you will read the words in blue or italics, I'm not sure which. Both. All right, in both. Okay. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered.
Sunday afternoon it was, some days before Christmas, with rain, with wind, with cold. Things to do list was long and growing like an unresistant mold. Temper, short. Bioindex, negative. Horoscope reading suggested caution. This holy hour of Lord's Day bliss was jarred by a pounding at the door. Now what? A rather small person in a cheap Santa Claus mask, carrying a large brown paper bag out thrust, trick or treat! Santa mask hoots again. Tongue-tied, I stare at this apparition. He shakes the bag at me, and dumbly I fish out of my wallet and find $1 to drop into the bag. The mask lifts, and it is an Asian kid with a $10 grin taking up most of his face. Want to hear some caroling? He asks in sing-song English. I know him now. He belongs to a family settled into the neighborhood by the Quakers last year. Boat people, Vietnamese, I believe, refugees. Hong Duck is his name. He's maybe 8. Want to hear some caroling? I nod, envisioning an octet of urchin refugees hiding in the bushes, ready to join their leader in uplifted song. Sure, where's the choir? I'm it, says he, and he launched forth with an up-tempo chorus of jingle bells at full lung power. This was followed by an equally enthusiastic rendering of what I swear sounded like "Hark the Hairy Angels Sing." And finally, a soft-voiced, reverential singing of Silent Night. Head back, eyes closed, from the bottom of his heart, he poured out the last strains of Sleep in Heavenly Peace into the gathering night. Wet-eyed, dumbstruck by his performance, I pulled a $5 bill out of my wallet and dropped that into the paper bag. In return, he produced half a candy cane from his pocket and passed it solemnly to me. Flashing the $10 grin, he turned and ran from the porch, shouted, "God bless you," and "Trick or treat," and was gone. Who was that masked kid? Hong Duck, the one-man choir delivering Christmas door to door. I confess that I'm usually a little confused about Christmas. It never has made a lot of sense to me. It's unreal. Ever since I got the word about Santa Claus, I've been a closet cynic at heart. Singing about riding in a one-horse open sleigh is ludicrous. I've never seen one, much less ridden in one. Never roasted chestnuts by an open fire. Wouldn't know how to if I had one, and I hear they're no big deal anyway. Wandering wise men raise my suspicions, and shepherds, who spend their entire lives hanging around with sheep, are a little strange. Never seen an angel either, and my experience with virgins is really limited. The appearance of a newborn king doesn't interest me. I'd just as soon settle for some other president. Babies and reindeer stink. I've been around them both, and I know. The little town of Bethlehem is a pit, according to those who have been there. Christmas isn't very real, and yet, I'm too old to believe in it and too young to give up on it, too cynical to get into it, and too needy to stay out of it. Trick or treat. After I shut the door came near hysteria, laughter and tears and that funny feeling you get when you know that once again Christmas has come to you. Right down the chimney of my midwinter hovel comes Saint Hong Duck. He is confused about the details, like me, but he is very clear about the spirit of the season. I'm it, says he. I am not sure that I quite believe in Christmas, but I am sure that I believe in Hung Duck, the one-man Christmas choir shouting trick or treat, door to door. Now please rise in body and or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 251, Silent Night. The lyrics will be projected to my right.
I'm a stickler when it comes to holidays. Some might even say I'm a curmudgeon. There are things that should be and things that shouldn't be. Holidays need to be observed nicely and each in their own time. Martin Luther King Day and Washington and Lincoln's birthdays and Memorial Day should be observed on their real days, not on convenient Mondays. Halloween candy shouldn't appear until after Labor Day. And Christmas music, cards, wrap, and decorations should not appear until magically on the day after Thanksgiving, when Santa arrives on his sleigh. Christmas trees and decorations should be taken down by January 1st, or maybe Epiphany, but clear outside lights can be left up and used all the way through winter, especially if they are the white icicle lights that I like to put up. There are seasons for everything, and seasons should be observed. So, it at first annoyed me when my partner Amy and I went to the mall the second weekend in November and saw Santa already there, set up on his big chair and greeting children. What are they thinking, I asked myself. Santa shouldn't be here yet. I was all prepared to be indignant and annoyed. That is, until Amy suggested that we get in line and have our picture taken with Santa. We joined the line, squeaking in just before the lunch break. We were, of course, the only people in line without children. I don't recall ever having had my picture taken with Santa. I know I visited him because I remember the twinkle in his blue eyes, but I don't know if I've ever had a picture. I was almost as excited as the kids in front of us. We thought about what we would ask Santa for. It was during the Bush era, and we asked for a new president and world peace, and decided that we should sit next to him rather than on his lap. He has a lot more kids to see this year. Santa was great, treating us with respect and dignity as we promised him that we picked up our toys every day. And he said he'd see what he could do about our wishes. Sure, our visit was before the official Christmas season begins, But as I sat there with Santa's arm around me, I realized that it was okay, because I realized that we need hope every day. And that's what this holiday season is about: hope and love and caring. Now I smile when I see the lit Christmas tree across the courtyard or hear the carols on the radio, because we need the hope. We need the hope and laughter in children's eyes. We need the hope and laughter to help us through the darker nights. We need the hope and laughter in each other's eyes. As far as I'm concerned, Christmas can come every day.
May the spirit of this season help us find our way through the noise and turmoil of the days ahead into the heart of Christmas itself, to its quieter joy and its peace. May we learn that we cannot hear the songs until our own hearts learn to sing them. May we, whose needs are so great, know how close we are to what we seek, and how often the things we want so desperately are ours already. May we be strong enough for the joys and pains of love, and may we, with quiet persistence in our hearts and with a child's sense of wonder, learn to enjoy the small happenings of our days and hours and find in them the meaning that touches us most deeply, that moves us most profoundly. May we find that life is good.